All right, so over 1 year ago, we started Reality Check on New Day. The very first topic we hit was GOP hypocrisy on the deficit. Remember, 10 years after the Tea Party mobilized protesters against the intergenerational theft of deficit and debt, well, it seems their new slogan should be, deficits don't matter unless a Democrat is president. Because the U.S. deficit is exploding during an economic expansion due to tax cuts and spending hikes under President Trump. It's getting worse. Now, during the debate over the Trump tax cut, we were told this over and over again.
The tax plan will pay for itself with economic growth.
Not so much. In fact, the deficit grew 27% in the first 10 months of this fiscal year to an astounding $866.8 billion. That's according to Trump's own Treasury Department. And that's not all. We're now on track to exceed a $1 trillion deficit, not by 2022, as originally predicted by the Congressional Budget Office, but in less than 2 months from now, with federal spending hitting a record $3.7 trillion. Now, fiscal conservatives on Capitol Hill had this response. Keep in mind, all this is happening during a record-breaking economic expansion, now in its 122nd month, roughly 3/4 of it under President Obama and 1/4 under President Trump. And that's why these deficits are so troubling. They shouldn't be growing at this stage of an economic expansion. But wait, you say. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow told us last summer that the deficit is coming down, and it's coming down rapidly. Well, that wasn't true then, and it's even worse now. Kudlow, a classic fiscal conservative, now says the record $22 trillion national debt is not a huge problem at all. Cool. So I guess we can forget that Trump promised he'd eliminate the debt in 8 years because he's actually increased it 12% so far. But in fairness, he always did call himself the king of debt. Team Trump knows their re-election hopes depend on keeping the economy humming until after the election. And so President Trump's been repeatedly patting himself on the back for the stock market's rise. But our friends at CNN Business did some number crunching to put this record in perspective. Now, in his presidency to date, 645 trading days to be precise, Trump has seen the stock market rise 29%, which is pretty impressive. But that lags way behind the stock market growth under President Obama by this point in W. But the stock market is the least of all worries. It's the merciless budget math that doesn't add up, with deficits exploding due to a giddy combination of tax cuts and spending hikes passed along partisan lines without any sense of long-term consequence. It brings to mind something Larry Kudlow once said.
We're getting another goofy deficit, blow the hole wide open, stupid short-term plan, which frankly, I don't even think anybody believes this stuff anymore outside of the White House.
And that's your reality check.